I feel like it's been forever since I streamed. It hasn't. It hasn't been that long. Well, what? 4, 5 days? I don't know. I've missed it. I've missed all of you. Come on in. Come to the stream. We're going to talk about some fun things. This one shouldn't be too long. We're not going for the record on this. But it should have some fun information. Some sad information, even. But you won't know what that information is unless you stick around. No, Gary, no smoking jacket today. I saved that for the storytime streams. As much as I love it, I got it hanging up over there. How's everyone doing? How's it going, Nasty Nathaniel, Angela Haskins, Nathan, of course, first one to say anything. Good to have you here. Oh, making a mess. I'm doing well. I'm a little tired today. Been doing a lot of stuff. Just you wait until you see what I've been doing. The project I've been putting together. I'm hoping to have it done by the end of the weekend. No promises. But for those of you who remember me talking about the Jeremy DeWitt musical, I'm very close. I'm very close to finishing it. But we'll see. J Pavilion, that's actually one of the things that we're going to be talking about. It's going to be good. I'm just letting people trickle in. If you're watching this after the fact, when it's not live, I'll try to have a timestamp for when this actually starts. So I know a lot of people have asked for that. So, yeah. It's a good Hello Dolly reference there, Gary. Green Bay, Wisconsin, home of the Cheeseheads. Never been. I hear good things about Wisconsin. A lot of cheese. Cows. You know? Well, I feel like we got enough people to start this. Why not? They can trickle in if they want. So, Metro State, the thing that has consumed my channel for the last, oh God, who knows how long. A lot. Folks, I want to just pause in my intro to the whole discussion by saying I never meant to make this channel about Jeremy DeWitt. And it will not forever be about Jeremy DeWitt in Metro State. It's just it was a very popular topic and people kept asking questions and I kept making videos about it. So, it's a whole thing. Getting distracted by the chat as per usual. So, Gary coming out here with some sweet, sweet musical references. Where was I? Oh man, you guys in the chat are blowing up. Anyway, so this channel was never supposed to be about Metro State. I'm glad that it happened. I've had a lot of fun discussing it with all of you. Eventually, we will have to move on. And it turns out we might be moving on from it sooner than I had hoped, or thought, at the very least, because I have some interesting news. Now, before we go into that interesting and potentially sad news, as people start texting me, I'm going to put that away. Let me pull up what I was going to show you all. You guys remember APR, right? He was one of the first people that I interviewed about Metro State. He's an employee. He's pretty high up the employee chain. He sent me an email with a video of him in a funeral escort. And this is more recent than a lot of the stuff we've seen. This is after they've made changes to the way they operate to try to be more within the law. Now, do keep in mind that Jeremy has been fairly resistant to these changes. APR has, according to him and other people I've talked to, been pretty instrumental in trying to make sure Metro State is operating lawfully. And from what I can tell, he's doing a great job. So I wanted to share this video with all of you because he's been getting a lot of hate on his channel from people who are like, oh, Metro State, Metro State. Now, I want to remind you all that Metro State isn't the problem. Metro State is a lawful business. It's the actions of certain key individuals within that company. They're doing the wrong thing. I love the idea of the company itself. I think it's a great business plan. And so he shared this video with me and said, what do you think? You know, does this seem like a good way to be doing these escorts? And I reviewed the video and I said, hey, are you okay with me discussing this on stream? Because I think there's some very good things to talk about. And he said, absolutely. So we're going to do just that. Yes, so this is in one of the cars, obviously. And I see people already talking about that laptop. And that was something I planned on discussing. We see the laptop here. It is turned off. Now, if I pulled someone over with a laptop like that, and it was turned off, I'd have no problem with that. I'd have absolutely no problems with it. If it was turned on, we'd have a discussion. I've pulled people over that had laptops on. And they're like watching, I think they were watching Golden Girls. And I said, what on earth are you doing? They're like, oh, I'm not looking at it. I'm just listening to it. My response to that was, then turn the screen away. They're like, oh, I was just listening to it. I've seen every episode a million times. I know them all by heart. Like, cool, then don't watch them. Just listen to it like it's an audiobook. What are you doing? Right? But this screen is off. It is not what I would consider a distraction. As long as it's not blocking too much of the windshield, it shouldn't really be a problem. Now, his head is somewhere. Is my mouse showing up? I don't know. This is from his body cam, which is closer to his chest. So his view is actually here. So we're going to be seeing, he's going to be seeing a lot more through that windshield than we are. So the question is, what police department was I with? I was military police. So I did a whole bunch of crazy stuff. CONUS, OCONUS, that would be inside the United States and outside the United States, police-wise, on military installations. A little bit off military installations, but very carefully, because military police have almost no jurisdiction off of military installation. It's a whole thing. Now, someone is saying, well, it's to make it look like a cop car. I mean, it doesn't help with the whole look, but APR actually does a really good job of establishing that he's not police in this video to people, to motorists. And that's something that I was very happy to see. Now, as I've said before, the look is not illegal. It does not appear to be illegal. It's the actions combined with the look that is a serious problem. In this video, APR's actions do not, to me, appear to be illegal. And I say that cautiously because I'm not the one enforcing the law out there. I'm going to take these off for a second. I'm not the one enforcing the law out there. If I was enforcing law, I mean, this is how I feel about it, what I'm telling you right now. But other officers may be able to articulate things differently than what I am doing right now. So take what I say with a grain of salt. The look is not criminal. Directing traffic or giving what appear to be lawful orders while looking like a police officer and failing to establish that you are not in a clear manner, that's illegal. So having this laptop, I don't have a problem with that. So let's take a look. And I'll be discussing this as it's going, and I'll be pausing it, and I'm sorry. If you want to watch the video, I'll link this in my description.
Yeah, these people are all over the place. Up on the curb.
Language warning, by the way, for those of you who are sensitive to that sort of thing. They're using horns. I don't have a problem with them using horns. We're going to pause this again right away. Sorry about that. We know sirens are illegal. Sirens are illegal. You can't use them except for very specific conditions, which this funeral escort does not meet. The horn, though, basically, Florida statute says that you can't make any unreasonable noise from your car. Your car cannot emit an unreasonable noise. Something along those lines. I would consider the horn reasonable given the nature of what they're doing. And in fact, in that video with the guy with the sheriff's vest, I don't know if you guys have seen that. I wasn't a huge fan of the way that the officer who conducted the traffic stop articulated the whole thing. I mean, he seemed pretty new. He could have been better, but his sergeant showed up and saved the day. We could talk about that if you guys want, but that's not going to be the focus of this discussion. The horns, they say, like, look, we have people trying to enter our procession. We're going through intersections even after the light turns red, and people don't understand that we're allowed to do that because of the statute, which is true. So we use the horn to get their attention. That seems reasonable to me. I would allow that. If I was reviewing that and someone made that excuse to me and I was like writing a ticket, I'd think about it. I go, you know what? Good point. But that's me, right? I don't consider that horn a problem personally. That doesn't mean it couldn't be under the right circumstances with the right officer writing the ticket, dealing with that case. So they're using a horn. I don't believe I've ever heard a siren in this video, which is great.
Taking up all 3 lanes of travel. These people are fucking everywhere.
I don't know about I think the lanes of travel, and then we're going to be starting and stopping this a lot. What's happening right now is there are people that are interrupting their funeral procession. I believe the explanation was they're doing a funeral escort for someone who had a gang that didn't appreciate them, and the gang is trying to interrupt the funeral for their own amusement. I don't know what kind of gang. I don't know the details. But apparently there's a lot of weirdness going on traffic-wise, and they're trying to react to that. I mean, they've said from the very beginning that this is the kind of thing that can happen. I'm not going to doubt it. I'm going to assume that that's what's actually happening because I have no evidence to the contrary. I do want to point out that we see here his hazards are on. That's really, really good. That's something that they're not required, but certainly expected to do as part of a funeral escort. Love seeing that. Just the small details. Digging the music. Now his speed appears to be, is it 10, 20, 25, 30 maybe? I can't really see from where I'm looking at it. The screen's kind of small on my screen. That's a reasonable speed. All right. It's nice to see after, videos of Jeremy saying let's get to 100 and the way he's driven. 30 seems to be a reasonable speed. Good for them.
Holding red, mercy.
I do want to point out, Gary, you say, we're going to keep pausing and starting. Like anyone will notice the hazards lights when all the other flashing lights are going. Well, that's fair. I mean, the hazards, with all the other flashing lights, they don't actually need to do the hazards. I just like seeing the hazards. Because the funeral statute says anyone in the procession should either have the flashing lights or their hazards going. It's just, they're not, I don't believe, required to have the hazards, but it's fun to see that they made the decision to do it. Just not necessary, I don't believe, but just a small little detail that shows that they're really sort of stepping up their game as far as how they're doing this. Spotlight handle and pillar. Look, so this is probably an old police car that they're using. And again, the look is not the problem. The look combined with the actions are the problem. I don't have a problem with any of these actions in this video. So that's fine. I wish I had the spotlight. I miss it. They're amazing. If you guys have never had one of these attached to a car, they're surprisingly useful. Surprisingly useful. Why would you need a laptop for a funeral escort? I'm sure there's a reason. Laptops aren't cheap. I'm sure they figured out a reason why they should have it. But I personally wouldn't consider it necessary. But I don't know. Is it illegal? No. Is it a choice they made? Yeah. Am I going to tell them they're wrong for it? No. It is a little weird, but if that's what they want to do, that's what they want to do. I don't see a problem with it. That doesn't mean there isn't a problem with it. I just can't think of any statute that would violate. I never enforced law in Florida, though, so Florida might have something specific for that. And again, yeah, the laptop could give the illusion of a police officer, but that's not illegal. You know, unless it actually says like police on it, right? The look is not the problem. The actions are the problem. And they can't use it while driving. So maybe they're using it as like a GPS thing, at which point I'm pretty sure that's acceptable. Can tell you, because we don't see it on. All right, here's something that maybe is an issue. He has this, a megaphone mic. There's a word for it. I can't remember off the top of my head. He's holding his hand, and many states don't allow the use of electronic communication devices while driving. They have to be hands-free. I don't know how Florida is. I don't know if this is considered an electronic communication device. It certainly is a device for communicating, and it is electronic, and it's not hands-free. However, given the nature of the device and its purpose, I don't think that he would get in trouble for that. Just, that would be something I would look into, though. I haven't looked into it. It was something that popped in my head the other day. I went, I wonder if that would be a problem. I don't think so. I think you could easily justify it and say, like, Your Honor, if you were, in front of a judge fighting a ticket, like, Your Honor, we're conducting a funeral escort. I need to be able to communicate with people because I don't have the lawful authority to remove them from my my escort, and people will enter it. I have to be able to communicate to them clearly that they are now inside of a funeral escort that they should not be in, and they have to leave, which is exactly what we're about to see. I think that it's justified for him to use that as long as it's not distracting him from driving. Now, maybe you could charge it as a secondary offense if he was pulled over for, I don't know, weaving in and out of lanes, and an officer pulled him over and said, I saw that you were holding this. Obviously, it was a distraction. There's your secondary charge. But I don't think you could get a ticket necessarily to stick, with the exception of some very specific circumstances, if that was the reason for a traffic stop. But, again, maybe. That's probably the biggest issue I see in this video. The biggest potential issue is that right there. So,
you stop driving like that, or I'm going to report you to the police. Stop driving like that.
All right, we're going to stop it again. He's communicating to someone who is interfering with their procession. Apparently has been doing it for, I don't know how long, but long enough that it's got their attention and they're trying to get it to stop. That basically establishes that they are not police. Great. Says, I'm going to report you to the police. If they were police, they'd be like, I'm going to report you because I am police, right? This establishes that they are not police. He's communicating with the other drivers. It says, stop doing this or else. Here is the consequence, which is great. That's what I like to see. Is it's often not enough to tell someone to stop. You also have to say, here are the consequences if you fail to do so. And that might not be a legal thing, but certainly a good, something to keep in mind if you're giving someone a command. Like for me, what I was taught as a police officer is, if I'm giving orders to someone, I'm saying, step out of the car, and they refuse to do it. Step out of the car. Sir, step out of the car now. Sir, step out of the car, or you're going to get tased, right? That is the escalation of how I'm going to be addressing the issue of them not stepping out of the car. Now, I'll ask them to do it. I'll tell them to do it. I'll order them to do it through threat of escalating force. So, sir, would you mind stepping out of the car? Sir, step out of the car. Sir, if you do not step out of the car, I'm going to tase you. So on and so forth. So giving a consequence is a great way to try to get someone to stop what they're doing. I love it. I think that's great communication.
I'm moving up.
Oh, of you are being reported to the police.
Great. And that's basically all they can do is report to the police. They don't actually have the authority to remove the person from the funeral escort themselves. So great. I love it. That's exactly what I want to see.
The escort up through the turn lane.
We got an accident? Who? Go get the blue car. Hey, go follow that blue car. Tell him to follow the blue car. It's a hit and run on the limo.
So a car who was weaving in and out of the, I believe weaving in and out of the funeral escort because they didn't like the person who was being escorted. That's the story I was given, I believe. And I'm sorry, APR, if I'm telling this wrong. Has hit the limo of, I would assume, some of the family members and drove off. That is a crime. That is a pretty big deal. And so they've stopped some of their vehicles to address that issue. And according to APR, they reported this incident to the police. They have the plate number and all that stuff. And the police are looking into it. To his knowledge, they're looking into it. That is unfortunate. And that is not uncommon for funeral escorts for there to be some sort of accident. I don't see this as being Metro State's fault. We can see that they are driving at a reasonable speed. I didn't see any unreasonable driving. Now, there were a lot of cuts in this video. And when we've talked about the Jeremy DeWitt videos, one of the things that has been brought up is that we're only seeing the very worst parts. It's been edited, so we only see the bad stuff. And it's possible that this video has been edited, so we only see the good stuff. But that doesn't mean that there is bad stuff. It just might be that the rest of it's very boring and doesn't really contribute to the narrative of this video. So, something to keep in mind, but I don't see anything that would concern me from this video. Now, if I had the raw video, maybe that would be a different story, but I don't have the raw video, and I like to assume that people are innocent until proven guilty, so I'm not going to make up a narrative just for my own amusement.
Fuck! People driving like idiots.
Welcome to Florida. All right. Since some of you are bringing up the look, this looks like a cop car. This is true. But for that to be illegal, it has to be more than just the look. If he had red and blue lights flashing, that would be illegal. If it said police on the side, that would be illegal. If he had a sheriff's star on the side, that would be illegal. But this, not illegal, to my knowledge. You can go to a police auction, buy one of these bad boys, and drive it home. It's going to be very frustrating because people are going to start driving real slow around you. And let me tell you, as someone who has driven law enforcement vehicles, this is very frustrating when you're in a marked patrol car and you're trying to get from point A to point B, but it's not enough of an emergency that you can run code. You're just trying to, get to a location, and the person in front of you drops to 10 miles below the speed limit, and you're just like, I'm not trying to pull you over. I just got to get to this place. Please stop. It's very frustrating. So for those of you, if you get a police interceptor package in a vehicle, they're very nice. From what I've experienced, but enjoyed slow traffic forever. I would love to see an auditor.
Did you follow that blue car? It was a hit and run on the limo. Did you follow?
I've got to respond to the comments. I haven't seen. I'm going to go through your comments and review them after all of this. I know I keep stopping and starting. I'm sorry about that. Why can't auditors audit Metro State? I would love to see that. That would amuse the bejesus out of me.
Fucking follow it?
He got license plate.
All right.
This is dangerous. This ain't good at all. You guys still up?
We got to get this moving. We got a huge clog behind us. We got to get this moving.
Smart.
We need to
He's right. There are a lot of cars backed up because hit and run will stop traffic, and they start moving it.
I'm gonna get behind the limo.
He's still driving at a reasonable speed.
Just get behind the limo, stay as close to the hearse as you can.
Limo and the 2 cars after it. The 2 cars after the limo. Let's get around the limo and the 2 cars. Let's lock the family, the immediate family together, and get this away from this. Now. I got limo 1, limo 2.
It's good communications. I like that.
Lock everybody down. Stay with these vehicles only. That's it. Yep.
I also like the placement of this air freshener. Because when it's here, there are some states you can't have an air freshener here. So that's a great place for it. It's a very, very small detail. But I saw this and I was so excited. Because it's good. They're doing really good. Or really well. Grammar.
Go, 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 go.
Rolling. I'm in at Street.
Still driving reasonably. We can see this motorcyclist doing his thing. They're hitting that horn going through the intersection. Good.
That's not our guy. That's their funeral home. They got cut off because the guy started waving a gun at them, and the family ran.
I don't remember that. Hold on, I missed that when I first saw this.
Cut off because the guy started waving a gun at them, and the family ran.
Apparently, someone started waving a gun around. I mean, it is Florida. That doesn't surprise me. And if that's true, it does sort of highlight some of the issues of these funeral escorts, especially if you are providing escorts for someone who may have gang members who disliked them when they were alive, and maybe that's the reason they're dead. And a lot of you have been bringing up the question: why do they need the pepper ball guns? Why do they need the bulletproof vests? Why do they need all their gear? And a lot of people have been complaining that I didn't address that in my interview with him, of which I still have some stuff to put out about that interview. I don't find it unreasonable for them to protect themselves. And do keep in mind that felons in Florida can wear body armor. They cannot purchase it, but they can wear it. So for those of you who had questions about that, there you go. I don't find it unreasonable for them to have some sort of devices to protect themselves with. And that was briefly touched in the interview and made sense to me. Now, how they use those devices, the pepper ball gun, there are limits to how they can use that. But wearing the body armor, to me, does not seem unreasonable if people are pulling guns during funeral escorts. If that's what's actually happening, pretty easy to justify. Just a fun fact. Now, the handcuffs, I still think is a little weird, right? Because if the handcuffs are just there for the look, as I've said before, all you really need is the pouch. You don't need the handcuffs themselves. But the pepper ball gun and the ballistic vest, I understand. That you could easily convince me is necessary.
Alex, the last vehicle is a Dodge Charger following a Silver Hyundai. Dodge Charger following a Silver Hyundai. I'm going back to get the rest of the family.
They don't technically provide security. That's more for their own defense.
On the left side, headed your way. We're right at Columbia. Gotcha.
I am digging this music, though.
I think he's talking about.
And maybe they aren't telling the truth about the gun, but that's a good question. You know, it's not something I can dispute based on the facts that I have.
All right, he's coming around me. We're trying to slow down the hall to run out now.
These people are out of control, dude. They already hit the limo, and one of the guys took.
This is the actual police. They called the police, and they said, hey, there's some crazy stuff going on. And according to APR, the police then helped them escort the funeral the rest of the way. That's exactly how it should happen. That's why I've been waiting for this entire time. To see something like this. And I'm not saying that this hasn't been how it's been happening, but it's great to see it, right? Because that's exactly what should happen, is warn the person you're about to call the police. Call the police before you even warn them. Just say, hey, there's some weird stuff going on this highway. Can we get someone to, be in this area? Tell the drivers, like, hey, we're reporting it to the police. And then get the police out there to help. Because the police can pull these people out of the procession and do traffic stops and issue tickets or arrest them or whatever. But the funeral escort cannot. Metro State cannot do that. So requesting police assistance, excellent move. I love it.
Off, dude. There's a hit and run on the one limo, but we got no control over these guys, man.
Yeah, so they came out and they said,
thanks, man.
We'll help you control this traffic because it's getting a little crazy.
Yeah, I'm trying.
And you notice the police officer doesn't have a problem with this, which is great.
We need to try to get them down to one lane and keep them in the one lane.
Beautiful. Get it back down to one lane. Love it. This was April 25th. I know the date is wrong, but it's real easy to not have your date set correctly. Now, there's a thing in the video that's dedicated to all the people who didn't think high-risk funerals were a thing. There's a little taste of reality for you. Fair. Orlando police... Oh, here's where it is. Yeah. As you can clearly see in the video, the oblivious, reckless funeral attendees had absolutely no respect for their very own loved ones. Oh, it was the attendees themselves. Nor did they have any regard for public safety, ignoring the escort's instructions the family paid for to remain in one lane. Okay, we did see that they said they're taking up 3 lanes, and they were trying to get them back down to 1. Orlando police were dispatched to assist with the escort as an alleged rival gang attempted and somewhat successfully interrupted the escort and caused chaos by cutting off the immediate family, waving what appeared to be a firearm at them, which we do hear them talk about, causing them to flee in another direction, resulting in more confusion and disruption. It's very unfortunate the family had this horrible experience, as Metro State did everything within their limited ability to escort the funeral. I like that they addressed, like, look, limited ability. Now we know that DeWitt has tried to push the envelope on what that ability is. I love seeing them be restrained in this video. Even with the assistance of law enforcement, the procession was unruly and dangerous. I've never doubted the fact that there were unruly people. I don't think I've ever doubted the fact. Maybe I have. Someone call me out if I have. Boom. I'm covering Metro State propaganda, nothing more. That's, fairly true. But the other videos, you could say, was propaganda against Metro State. Right? I like to cover both sides to sort of address what we see, because we're not seeing the facts with just the Metro State videos. We're not seeing all the facts with just the videos from real world police. I want to discuss all of it. And yes, this is essentially propaganda to make themselves look good, but it does make them look good. So, and this wasn't done by Jeremy. This is APR, who's been trying to get the company on the right track. And APR and I have had a lot of discussions about how to do that. And I've been very happy with what he has told me they are trying to do to make sure the company continues lawfully, running, doing whatever. And I don't want this company to fail. I really don't. I want certain individuals who are using it to break the law to be corrected in whatever manner that would be. But I love seeing this because this shows me, cool, the company can be run correctly, and people are taking steps to make sure it is run correctly. This is great. And for those of you who are giving him hate on this video, I don't think the hate is warranted. APR is not Jeremy. He's trying to make a change. He's trying to fix these things. Processions need escorts for lighting and horn. Without the use of said lighting and horn, there would have no doubt been more than just one accident. Okay. Credits, soundtrack, so on and so forth. That's basically the video. And so the things we saw that I really liked. The speed was kept down. I move back over. Speed was kept down. They made it clear that they were not police. They enlisted the help of police when they felt they needed it. There was good communication. They tried to keep it in one lane. Yes, it was edited. We don't see the whole thing. But from what we see, I mean, clearly, based on how it was edited, they know what the right parts are. Right? And could this just be pure propaganda that doesn't actually accurately reflect the escort and what happened? Sure, it could be. But that's not what I'm seeing. And absent anything that establishes that escort was bad, I'm going to assume that it was done correctly. I'm going to say good job. That's exactly what I wanted to see. And thank you so much, APR, for not only putting it out there, but sharing it with me so that I can see it and review it. And for those of you who are upset that I'm defending Metro State, I'm sorry. But I'm trying to be fair and reasonable here. I'm not saying that I like their past actions, but I am saying if they want to run the company lawfully, this is a great start. This is a really great start. And yes, Goober, love it, Goober Thoreau. He is very defensive of Metro State, and he's been part of Metro State for a while. I don't judge him for being defensive about Metro State. When you're part of an organization, and you like the organization, you like the people in it, you're going to defend it. You're going to see things from a certain point of view, and sometimes you need to be pulled away from that to really get the full picture and go, oh, we were the bad guys, right? Not saying that he's a bad guy. But this is uncommon. Even within organizations that it's pretty clear that, things are wrong, it's not uncommon for people to defend it and be like, look, all right, yeah, that was bad, but, we're not bad. We're not the bad guys. No one wants to be the bad guy. Everyone wants to justify what they're doing. I don't have a problem with him defending it. He absolutely acknowledges a lot of issues. And again, with real world police, we're only seeing all the bad stuff. I'm sure there are a lot of really good things for him to defend. But he has made it very clear. He's like, look, yeah, we started talking to Jeremy and we're trying to fix him. We absolutely acknowledge that there are some issues. And that's a great start. I can't fault him for that. Jeremy is a registered sex offender. That is true. APR is not, to my knowledge. Maybe he is. I don't know. I don't believe he is. So I don't think that's terribly relevant. The video is obviously heavily edited. Yes, it is heavily edited. But so are the real world police videos. In the interest of fairness, and I'm not saying I'm supporting DeWitt. I wish him the best. But pretty sure he's seeing jail time. Sarah Marie, thank you so much. I didn't even see that. Thank you so much. Love your channel. APR seems to have his head screwed on. Reeling Jane must be a full-time job at times. Yeah, there have been times where, according to him, Jeremy has been pretty resistant to some of the changes that APR wants to make. But APR has made it pretty clear that they're trying to make some pretty big changes to address these issues. Let me see what else we said in the comments before I move on to some of the other things. Propaganda. Yeah, okay. Let me see. Biggest gripe about DeWitt, says Thomas, is his explosive anger and overstepping his authority. I would agree. I'm not saying DeWitt's a bad person. I'm saying he's made some poor choices. Right? I like to believe that people are inherently good, despite evidence to the contrary. He has an anger issue. I will not debate that. And he has an issue understanding where exactly the limits of his authority lie. Does that mean I want to see him put in jail forever? No. I think that people can learn from their mistakes. I talk to a lot of people with criminal records. Do I think they're bad people because of their criminal records? Well, it depends on the crime, really. But did they make a mistake? Yes. Does everyone make mistakes? Sure. Their mistakes just happen to be worse than many others. They went to jail. They served their time. Did they learn? Right? If you keep making those mistakes, now I have an issue with you. But if you learn and you correct yourself, great. That's all I can hope for. That's what the prison system is hopefully designed for, although there's evidence to the contrary. We're not going to get into that. That's a whole other topic. Do I appreciate the fact? Am I okay with him being a sex offender? No. Is his explanation reasonable? Possibly, absent more information about it. I don't really want to get into the discussion. But we're not discussing Jeremy right now. We're discussing APR and his attempts to address the concerns about Metro State. You heard a siren. I mean, the real police were involved. I think that might have been them. Do you think Jeremy would be down for a Netflix documentary? I would love that. I would love for there to be a Netflix documentary. Mostly because I want to be in it. I really would. Let me see. Just looking through. Repo Man, I'm not a civilian cop. I want to make that clear. But I appreciate it. I was only military police, as DJ Dom has said. Not that I wasn't real police, it was just enforced on military bases. On civilians, but not outside of the base, no. Alright, let's look at... what else was I gonna talk about? I was gonna talk about that. Alright, singing to myself. Let me see. Shkablamo. Alright, this is from the Metro State Facebook page. I don't know if this is their legitimate Facebook page, because a lot of stuff has been popping up. That's Metro State. I know there's a Twitter account that's not real. There's a YouTube account that is not real that comments on my stuff. I don't know if this is real. But this is something a lot of people have been bringing to my attention, so I want to address it. It says, please note that Metro State is under new management, with Jeremy stepping down to management positions. I'm pretty sure that's the wrong two, but it's fine. It's fine. Please refrain from posting comments and or pictures that show negativity. There will be updates to the vehicles, uniforms, and overall management of Metro State. Stay tuned. Thank you, Samuel Davies, Office Manager, Metro State Services. All right, if this is true, that's a bold move, Cotton. Now, I saw this and I immediately thought he might be taking that plea deal. Remember the plea deal that I was telling you guys that had been told me? I haven't seen the paperwork of the plea deal. But this is what I was told from people who are familiar with that whole situation. Is that he's looking at possibly 30-something years in prison if he's convicted for everything. But he's been offered a plea deal, allegedly, that is 1 year in prison or jail, whichever one, because they do have different connotations, and then 15 years probation. 15 years probation where he can't hold a position of authority. So my immediate thought was he's preparing to take that plea deal, but he's taking certain steps to try to get a better plea deal, maybe 1 year and 10 years probation, by saying, look, I'm already not in a position of authority. Look, I'm showing that I can do this before we've even officially established that I have to. Great. All right, so looks like they're updating the vehicles. Great. The uniforms, cool. The overall management, well, there you go. If this is real, can't tell you for sure if it is, but I like to believe it is. So my thought was he's preparing to take that plea deal. Is that the case? Do I know that for sure? No, but that is my theory. So, I don't know. Now, if he's still running it, no, he would still be running as in a management position, and I'm fine with that. But the problem would be him actually being out on the escorts if he takes that plea deal, right? He can still run the company, I believe, under that plea deal. He just can't be out there telling people what to do in an authoritative position, right? Let me see. The other thing about this I want to address before I move on to the other stuff. I've talked to APR. He was in my Discord. Speaking of Discord, I'll link that for you guys. And for those of you wondering what the Discord is, it's basically, it's like a, I don't really know how to describe Discord. It's a place where we talk about my channel. You know, what I'm going to stream, what I've already streamed, the videos I'm putting out. People can ask me questions. I'll try to answer. That may never show up on the actual YouTube channel. We have a pretty good time. I've certainly enjoyed it. So I'm going to link it because I only link it in my streams for all of you guys. It's good for 24 hours. Let me just... Shkablamo. There's that little secret Discord link for you. I was about to say something. I forgot. Oh, yes. So I was talking to APR, and normally I wouldn't... Or was it APR? One of his other names. I believe it was APR. I know, for those of you who weren't there, it's going to be really confusing. I was talking to APR in the Discord, which is a fairly public place, so I'm going to assume he's okay with me putting this out there. There are rumors that Jeremy is selling the company. He's trying to find a buyer. Don't know if it'll actually happen. And there are rumors that they are preparing to liquidize their assets. So Metro State might be finished. Maybe. I'm not super happy about this, weirdly, because I love the idea of Metro State. I think it's a super great business idea. I always have. What a heck of a business idea if it can be done lawfully, and which is very tricky because there are a lot of ways to do it incorrectly, which we've seen, obviously. But I'd buy the company, but if they're liquidizing their assets, if there's nothing, if it's just like, here's the title of the company, I don't really want the title. But wouldn't that be fun if we could own Metro State, all of us together? I'm not going to do that. I might, if they're liquidizing their assets, I might see what I can buy. There are a couple things I definitely want. If there are any badges out there that they're selling, I'd love to get my hands on one of those. Maybe our car decal. Definitely a car decal. I definitely want one of those. Possibly a polo. Why not? Why not? Yeah. Crazy. But it's kind of a shame that that's happening. Because now that they're making these changes, well, great. You should be able to keep going. I would recommend doing it under a different name. Changing the name and continuing. Because they have the contacts. They have people that like them. They're already associated with a lot of funeral homes. So they say, hey, funeral homes, we're changing our names. We're still the same people. Just publicity is bad right now. Cool. That's what I thought would happen. But if they're selling the company, and it might not be happening, but if that's what's happening, it's kind of a shame. It's kind of sad to see it happen. But I assume if that's what's happening, is liquidizing assets to pay legal bills, because this cannot be cheap. And it might be another sort of attempt to get a better plea deal. Being like, look, there is no company. Give me a better plea deal. Maybe. That's purely speculation. Purely speculation. 15 years probation, really excessive, says Nasty Nathaniel. I think, it's a lot. But compared to 30 years in prison, it's a lot better than that. And the conditions of the probation are basically don't hold any position of authority. That's not that bad. Yeah, and maybe they could get it to end early. So, I don't know. I was sad to see it. I really was. I'm reading your comments real quick. Hoodies with the four service stripes. That's actually, I'm not gonna market their stuff. At least that's not the plan currently. Maybe that will change in the future. But I'm not trying to make this the Metro State YouTube review channel. I will be moving away from that. But man, wouldn't that be a thing? Oh, I'm sorry. I'm just in my head imagining buying Metro State. I do not have the money to do that, folks. And I don't expect you all to try to help me fund it. But okay, next thing I want to address. Moving away from that, I had a comment. Nope. Yes, from Orlando Motorcycle Riders Association. And language alert, folks. Unfortunately, I'm going to call BS. I still have my black shirt from Metro State Enforcement Agency, and he was not any member/owner back then. Pedophiles cannot get security licenses. Big absence of punctuation, but we're going to push through it, guys. Since he's a felon, he's not even supposed to wear body armor. That is not correct, by the way. He can wear it. He cannot buy it in the state of Florida, specifically. Someone was saying in Texas that you can't wear it. Keep in mind, Florida has its own rules about it. This is my Google Drive. And I wouldn't usually post someone's Google Drive, except he publicly posted it, so it's fair game. This is my Google Drive. I was with Metro State Enforcement back in 2008, 2009. We had no motorcycles, nor did we have take-home vehicles. Also, this idiot, Jeremy DeWitt, decided in some of his pics to wear a Silver Army shoulder cord. The effing idiot was never in the Army, nor DOS. Should be does. Simple spelling mistake. It's fine. I'm not upset about that. I am a stickler for, you guys know how I feel about spelling. That's one of my, it's stupid. It's not even important. Nor does he have any degrees in medical science. Where's that coming from? I will explain. Nor was he in the Army, as well as incorrectly wearing a shoulder cord on the right shoulder when it's actually pinned to the left shoulder. Also, generally, you can't wear them when you want. All right, let's break this down for a second. I ran this by APR. I said, APR, hey, a lot of this seems wrong. First of all, 2008, 2009, we know that Metro State Services was not around then, right? This is a 10-year company. Felon can't wear body armor. We've already addressed that. He can. He just can't purchase it. This whole thing, we're going to get into that. And I'm not trying to go after Orlando. If someone sees this, though, I don't want people to be confused. All right, 2008, 2009, I talked to APR, and he says, well, actually, Jeremy's mother allegedly has a security company, Metro Security, something like that. Metro State Enforcement Agency. Apparently his mom had a company under that name that was security, which actually explains quite a bit. She had the license to run a security company, but she and Jeremy had a falling out, and she canned the company, and she said, nope, I'm not doing this anymore. Well, that would explain that. Two different companies, technically. It was interesting. I didn't know that, if that is true. Now, we have his Google Drive and a bunch of pictures of him, which we're going to ignore. But we have this black shirt. And APR says, yeah, these shirts exist. This is a real thing. From when his mom was running an actual security company. Metro State, Protecting Our Communities Together, Enforcement. Now, I've looked for the Metro State Enforcement. I can't find it. So this must have been an old thing that does not exist anymore. But we've never seen this before. This isn't what they use now. I don't believe. Or maybe this isn't what we've seen on the badge for what Jeremy carries. Because his badge has the Los Angeles seal on it. Other badges, I think, actually might have this. Because APR has shown us his badge, and it is different. So it might be this. I'm not entirely sure. Similar. It's still using the LA background, but the seal is different. It's a whole thing. These are new. We've never seen these before. And there's him wearing it. And we're going to get into that in just a second. All right. So it's very interesting. I was very confused. Like, this isn't real. This guy's confusing two different companies. And he kind of was. But, yeah, now, Thin Blue Line, you say he's completely rips off the LAPD and Colorado State Patrol. They should sue. And then they might be able to file a civil suit, especially if Jeremy is using the seal. That could be a problem. I contacted them to ask what their rules on that are. And, with the coronavirus, they've been very slow to respond. As have anyone. Speaking of requests I've made, I requested Sergeant Vidler's personnel file ages ago. You may remember that. And they finally got back to me and said, I will be $400 because there are so many pages. Because he's had a long career, 20 years or 30 years or however long he's been doing it. Decades. Big personnel file. 15 to 25 cents a page. I don't remember the exact amount. $400. I'm not going to pay that. So, for those of us wanting to see if the claims of corruption from that the sheriff's department is true, I guess we'll never know. I'm not paying $400 for that personnel file. Sorry. I tried. This isn't very clear. So, the claims... Let's go over the other things. Silver Army shoulder cord. He's actually wearing a blue infantry shoulder cord. Let me see if I can find that picture. If anyone... Let me see. Jeremy DeWitt military uniform. I should have had it. There we go. Here it is. Stand by. Let me see. Okay, perfect. Twitter. This is not his real Twitter, by the way. This picture right here. All right. This is a blue infantry shoulder cord. All right. It's not silver. It looks kind of silver. The picture quality just isn't great. That's part of the problem. And the uniform is actually really, really close, except for he doesn't have shoulder boards here, which is weird. Because this right here indicates he's an officer. These are worn the way an officer would, so he should have a rank here. But his rank is missing, which is odd. Now, I personally believe he saw a picture of a real uniform, recreated it exactly, but somehow missed these. Because this looks really good. Now, if he's wearing a silver star, that would likely be illegal if he's using this picture to gain employment. I've looked at these. I can't say for sure. I cannot say for sure what any of these ribbons are. I have speculations, but the quality isn't great. Yeah, it's a whole thing. Chris, what cost $400? Officer or Sergeant Vidler's personnel file, because there were claims from a lot of people in the beginning of our whole series of videos on DeWitt that Sergeant Vidler was a corrupt cop. So I said, cool, I'll request his personnel file and look into it. Now, I think we're past really looking into that, and I'm not paying $400. I certainly don't want $400 to pay for this personnel file. I think that money could be used for better things than that. Just putting it out there. So, the first ribbon is in fact a silver star. I'll definitely... Let me look. Silver star, because that is absolutely stolen valor. If he's wearing that, silver star. Where was I? All right, silver star. We got blue, white, red, white, blue. I can't. Is that blue? I don't know. Yeah, what function is that? Because that's a Marine right there. I'm not really sure. Maybe it's some sort of joint ball. Someone brought up the idea that did some people have civilians dress up like soldiers and have balls. I'm not super familiar with that. I've never really heard of that until recently. Kind of odd, huh? So if that's a silver star, that's a huge problem. And there are enough ribbons here. That's a lot of ribbons. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11? Possibly more under here, but unlikely because you're actually authorized to wear at that sort of angle-ish thing. I'm no good at explaining uniforms. AR-670-1 if you guys want to look into the correct wear and appearance of a military uniform. I have a problem with this. You guys know I have a problem with this. But that's not a silver ribbon. That's a blue infantry ribbon. It's just that the colors aren't great. So, to address that, where was it? Was it this? All right. So, was never in the Army, nor does he have any degrees in medical science. Where is that coming from? Medical science? Well, I can tell you. First of all, it's actually pinned to the left shoulder. No, that's correct. Fairly certain. Now, I don't have an infantry cord, so I'm pretty sure that's correct. But let's look at where he's getting this silver from. Now, this is, I think he said, I don't know if you'll be able to see it very well. Silver honor cords in shades of silver or gray are most often awarded to students graduating with degrees in medical science, such as chiropractic, speech, oratory, and veterinary science. The color is used often in graduating ceremonies from faculties of medicine as well. However, honor societies use this color of cord to depict graduation from faculties such as physics, agriculture, and business management. This is something that Orlando Motorcycle Riders Association put in their Google Drive to establish that what this silver cord was. Again, not silver cord. But I do want to point out, and I understand the confusion, these are not army cords. These are graduation cords that you, like the tassels that you'd have, I assume. These are like college graduation. Not related to the army at all. So it's a whole thing, right? Like the uniform looks great, like good job at the very least doing that, but it's frustrating. I don't believe he was ever in ROTC. I know that I believe Florida National Guard was willing to take him in. I don't know if he ever got in. But that's a whole thing. Anyway, that's the things I wanted to address. The video APR put out that I am super excited about because it looks great. I know a lot of you hate that I'm saying this and don't like the company and whatever. That's, in my mind, what we've seen. And again, maybe there were some bad parts of it. I'm going to pretend there aren't. Just because I want there not to be. From what we've seen, that's a great representation of how it should go. In my personal belief. And then we address new management. We've addressed the possibility of them selling the company. And now we're addressing this particular comment, which caught my eye, which I thought was very interesting. And I do try to read most, if not all, of your comments, folks. And I always appreciate you giving your opinion. I do want to, once again, say, please do not go after his family. Don't be talking about his wife. I do delete those comments. She's not a part of this. Try to maintain a little bit of respectability. Please don't be calling him. Absolutely, I do not support that at all. Please do not be calling Jeremy DeWitt and harassing him. That is potentially illegal. Let the justice system do its thing. All right. But with this, that's going to be the end of the planned stream, and I'm just going to address comments. So for those of you watching this after the fact, if you don't want to watch me address a bunch of comments and whatnot, there you go. So, comment time. Question here, federal charge, stolen valor. If he is wearing a silver star and using that for personal gain, that meets the criteria of federal stolen valor. Now, in the state of Florida, it's just claiming to have served in the military for personal gain. So if he's claiming to have served in the military, regardless of whether or not he wears a uniform, if I'm interpreting the statute correctly, all he needs to do is claim military service for personal gain, regardless of what's actually on his uniform. Federally, I can't speak anymore. Federally, he has to be claiming to have earned a medal of some sort of valor, right? Silver Star, Bronze Star, Congressional Medal of Honor, that sort of thing. Which, if he is wearing that Silver Star ribbon, that would meet those criteria. So, a Tiger King style documentary about Jeremy's life. I've actually been contacted by someone. I don't know how much I can say. I'm just going to be very limited. That's claims they're working for a company that is putting together a channel about motorcycle riders, and they came across this and thought, wouldn't that be an interesting topic? The coronavirus has shut that production down, assuming that's real. But maybe, I don't think we're going to get a documentary just on him, but he might pop up in something, and I would love that, and I'd love to be a part of that, and I'll definitely assist in any way I can. And look, if you reach out to me for help, I'm going to try to assist you, likely, right? I've tried to assist Jeremy. I've tried to assist people who are bringing the heat against Jeremy. I don't have a dog in this fight. Yeah, you know my opinions on this. I'm trying to remain fair and neutral as much as possible. But even auditors, you know, guys, that I've challenged some auditors as far as their methods go and said, you can't do this. This is absolutely illegal. If they reached out to me for help, regardless of my personal feelings about them, I will advise them how I believe they should keep doing their activities within the law. Because auditing is fine if it's done correctly. You know, personal opinions aside. You know, if you want to catch corrupt cops, great, but please do it correctly. Let's see. COVID, me? Nah. You guys, are they arguing which branch is better? Obviously, the Air Force. And I've known some great people in the Air Force. I can't really complain about them. Guardians of the Green Beret requests his military records via FOIA from NPRC and no records found. That is what happened, yes. And I've directly asked him, I said, Jeremy, I'm not going to lose my mind on you, but I do want to know. Tell me about these claims of military service. And he's not answering, so. And we know he's a talker. It's fine. I'm going to keep asking. I'm going to keep trying to get that information from him. No, folks, I don't have the coronavirus. Let me see. Just, you know, you talk for an hour and your voice will start to go. I'm looking through your comments. I'm not going to go too far back. Let me see. Favorite 1911 manufacturer? Colt. I have actually no idea. But Colt's the original, right? Under Texas law, it's state criminal offense to wear any military decoration award you haven't earned. See, the states are usually a little more strict about it than federal law. So Florida is much more strict about it. I believe he is violating Florida law. Federal law, I'd have to confirm that is a silver star he's wearing. I also have to confirm that he's using that image or his claims of military service to gain employment or personal benefit. This is certainly enough. If I were still in an investigative capacity, professionally, right? If with the support of the government, I don't have that anymore. I still investigate, but not as an actual sworn police officer. I do technically still hold the title of military police, but I'm not in. I don't act in military police capacity. For those of you who are curious. But if I was, this would be enough to start doing some pretty serious investigation. Can I say for certain where that investigation would lead? No. I try to hesitate to jump to any conclusions without hard evidence. Just in the interest of fairness. Yes, DeWitt stated he was a major. And you'd think a major would know to wear shoulder boards, wouldn't you? The rank goes here. On an officer's uniform. Let me see. What else we got? You see the seam? Are you talking about this guy right here? The seam? Someone was asking if I'd explain that. Maybe someday. I'm not going to tell you the real story. I'm going to tell you a bunch of fake stories. Maybe eventually I'll tell you the real story. I have some really good fake stories about it, though. When will I do a video on the Franklin County Sheriff's Office incident with the FBI special agent? I'm working on that. I am. I have a project I'm doing before that, and then I'm going to start doing that. Oh boy, guys, do I have a script for that? It's not going to look good for the FBI in that video. I'll tell you that right now. That whole thing was such a mess. I loved it. I love it so much. Yes, I've actually. Part of the witness protection program. This isn't my real face. I had a transplant, a face transplant. What's next, as I spoke about in the intro, my next project is the Jeremy DeWitt music video, the musical. So, Audit the Audit has done a video about the Franklin County. Is that what we're saying? Audit the Audit actually asked me to collaborate with them. I have not had the time to do it. I have a script. I might just send them the script and say, hey, here's my view on this topic of this other thing that you wanted. I have seen some of Audit the Audit's videos, and one of my concerns is that he misses some pretty key stuff sometimes. Things that absolutely go against what he's trying to establish. And he does a fine job of putting together videos, and he has a lot of subscribers. But I've watched some of his videos and been like, no, that's absolutely not correct. No, you're absolutely misinterpreting the situation. No, this is not what the police are thinking at this time. No, the police absolutely could justify this based on these things. And I'm not saying he puts out bad videos, but I am saying that as someone who's actually enforced the law, there are certain key things that he fails to address. But, I mean, watch his videos, make your own opinions. Is he biased against the police? I hesitate to call anyone out like that. But if I had to say yes or no, I'd say yes. Right? You'd never... Texas Deputy Merck 574, I assume TX is Texas, says, I really want to see that Franklin County FBI video. I've never in almost 20 years have at least seen a federal agent act like a 2-year-old or conduct an investigation, end quote, of another agency officer in that weird way. I agree. I've worked with federal agents, and I was struck by how weird he was acting, that federal agent. And I'm in the comment section of a few of those videos being like, no, guys, this agent is weird. Because they're like, oh, if police are going to treat FBI agent like that, imagine how they'll treat black people. Like, no, they were absolutely correct to question the FBI agent. Absolutely. And they're like, how do you know? Like, I worked with them. I worked with CID for 2 years. CID being the Army's federal agency. I was not a CID agent. I was an investigator within a CID unit. Yes, Hatton said on his LinkedIn that he's retiring from the incident. Hatton being the FBI agent. He said, "Oh, I was assaulted, and due to my injury, I'm retiring. I can't believe it happened. I survived the attack." Like, bro, you were in a car. You were handcuffed and put in a car. You complained after 2.5 minutes that the heat was too high because the defroster was on, and then you ordered them to take you away in an ambulance. What injury? I'm my personal opinion, an opinion, mind you, it's not actual fact, is that his department was like, look, dude, put in for retirement because you made us look bad. And that's his excuse. That's my personal opinion. I can't back it with facts. Just a theory. And I say that to avoid possible lawsuit. No, I think Audit the Audit is trying to do the right thing. And no hard feelings towards him, but I wish he would reach out for another opinion on some of his videos. Is that the one that called the deputy on his personal phone? Yes. And then wouldn't explain how he got the number, flash his creds and put them away real quick. Was driving a car that was registered to a wiring company, although it was an undercover car, which is weird that he's driving an undercover car in the first place. If he's undercover, why is he meeting in the capacity of an FBI agent? It didn't really make sense. Why is he meeting there instead of setting up a meeting in a place where they could easily confirm who he is? Not necessarily at the police station, but like go to the court, right? And have someone there be like, this is FBI agent, whatever. He's identified himself and we've confirmed who he is. That would save you so many problems. If the point was to investigate the police department, of which there isn't really any evidence that was the point, I get it. Don't meet at the police station, but also maybe contact the police officer off duty. And people are telling me, oh, well, if he's like, hey, meet me at a bar, the police officer has no obligation to talk to him. Police officer doesn't have an obligation to talk to him anyway if it's not an official investigation. If it's an official investigation, there are proper channels to do this through, which it doesn't appear that they were done through because the whole thing was super duper weird. right? Like the whole thing was so weird, and I gotta make a video about it because it's just so strange. And a lot of people don't understand how strange it is. And I really gotta be like, look, guys, I want you to see this how I see it, because I'm losing my mind over this. And it's just, oh, it's a whole thing. It's a whole thing. And I'll be making that video. I'll be releasing that script on my Patreon. And that's just so that you guys who are interested in supporting this channel financially can see it earlier. But don't worry, everyone will get to see it eventually. I don't put things on my Patreon that are like super interesting that I don't also intend to put on my regular channel. It's just that I put the rougher cuts up there for people who don't want to wait, and then you guys get the finished stuff. For example, my my interviews with Jeremy, they always go up on Patreon first, but that's because I haven't done all the editing yet, and I still have 1 or maybe 2 more videos of that to put out. I've hit a little bit of a roadblock with the audio, because remember, guys, the audio became corrupted. I'm still trying to fix it. It should be doable. It's just, we'll see. It's very frustrating. It's very frustrating. All right. Yes, Hans Boss said he was on official business. I don't know. The whole thing is just so weird. What is Patreon? It's a website. If you look up Patreon, Sergeant Blue Bacon, I can link it if you guys want. Go ahead and ask if you want it. It's where you can pay like a monthly $3 or $5, depending on what you want. It supports this channel so that I can pay for record requests or equipment to go make fun videos. And you'll get access to things early. So I'll put scripts up there. The lowest tier you can do is $3, and you get scripts that I've written for videos, or essays I've written that I'm either not going to make into a full video, so you see things that will never show up on the main channel, or are going to be put into or made into a video, and you get to see them before that's made. Or blooper reels. I don't have any blooper reels, but that's going to be the $4 tier, I believe, once those are available. And then the $5 tier is you get to see the videos before the green screen has been edited out, and I have all the articles up behind me and all that sort of thing. And then I have a $15 tier, which is just for people who want to spend way too much money on me. And that's my Green River Killer tier, where I discuss the sort of more private details of my investigation into where the Green River Killer's victims, who have so far been unfound or not found or whatever, might be. Because I'm planning on doing a video series on that, trying to hunt down some of his victims in the woods. Let me see. Yeah, it's basically a subscription service. Good. Well done. Do you guys want me to link that? I feel weird advertising myself like that, you know? I don't know. I don't do this for money. The money doesn't even go to me. It goes to someone else. They buy my equipment. They own my equipment. And this is basically to keep myself... I worry, because I see a lot of people like, I'm starting this legitimate thing, and then they become corrupted by power. I'm trying to avoid that. I control my channel. I do not control my finances. I have someone else that they get a cut of the money. When I need equipment, I say, can you buy this equipment for yourself and let me use it? And then the rest of it gets donated to charity. We haven't done a charity donation yet, but I do intend to do that. Once I finish buying the equipment for the Green River Killer stuff, we're going to be picking a charity to be donating to. So here is the link, my Patreon, if you want to. So you're married then. I get it. Patreon, if you want to check that out. Don't support me if you don't want to. If you do, I appreciate that a lot. The Green River Killer stuff is going really well. I found some really good information. I contacted the police, and they're like, yeah, you've asked for, hundreds and hundreds of pages of documents. It's going to take us years to get that all together. It can cost you hundreds of dollars. Or someone else has already requested all of it, and they sell CDs with the information for $20 a CD. And so I've contacted the guy and said, $20 a CD? Cool, that sounds really interesting. And he said, yeah, I have like dozens of CDs. I go, great. That's a lot of CDs. For $20 CDs, that's a lot of money. How are they organized? He goes, they aren't organized. Thanks, dude. Great. So I could pay $20 for a CD, not knowing what I'm going to get. And that might be fun. You know, maybe that would be fun. I don't know, but I'd like to be able to pick and choose. I don't know. Well, I'm still looking into it. Yeah, so I can't go out and search for anything yet because the state's in a lockdown. But I did get a drone. Oh. Wait, what am I not answering? Sorry. People are saying I'm not answering them. I got a drone, a video drone, a very nice video drone. I'm going to show it off. I am nobody. Ask the question again. I didn't see it. Let me show this off to you guys. You met Anne Rule? I want to meet Anne Rule. Anne Rule is kind of a big deal. She wrote one of the more popular books on the Green River Killer. She actually communicated directly with him. I think she communicated directly with him. She was involved in a book about, what's his name? Netflix just did a video on him. Ted Bundy. She's communicated directly with Ted Bundy. She wrote, I believe, a book on him, and he was very excited. And he actually messaged her like, "I hope, it does very, very well. I'm very excited for you." So she's kind of a big deal. There's actually, when I was going through the newspaper articles from like the mid '80s on the Green River Killer, she's mentioned one of them as someone who they're asking for a psychological profile and all that sort of thing. So I'd love to meet her if she's still alive. I don't know if she's still alive. I really hope so. Anyway, I bought myself this video drone right here. This guy. Pretty neat, right? This is I should probably get rid of that. That's not useful. It's a DJI Phantom 3 4K. This is a $1,000 drone that I got for $100 because the guy selling it to me didn't know if it worked or not. It does work, we think. It flies, and I think it records video. I haven't put it through all of its paces, but we should be able to get some pretty good shots with this. $100, folks. It's not bad. I was drone hunting for a while. I'm very excited to have that. Flight time of that is supposed to be about 23 minutes, I think, but I don't know how good the batteries are because this is a used drone. I'm so excited about it, guys. This is a very nice drone. This is way nicer than I expected to be able to get. I was going to buy some like $300-$400 drone, which is a lot of money, but $100, I can live with that. Anne Rule's no longer around, so I will never be able to talk to her. That's a shame. But there are other people I can contact. Yeah, when I crash it, which will inevitably happen, I will not be out of that much money. So the fixed wing, I've looked into the fixed wings ones, but they're not as stable. The ones with the really good gimbals, which for stabilization of the camera, are very expensive. They do have very good flight time, but they don't hover, which is one of the things I want. So, you got one free. It flew into your sliding glass door, and no one came to get it. I love it. Did I go to Germany and get chased by wild pigs? I never got chased by wild pigs. I was in Germany. I have some good Germany stories. I'll have a stream one of these days. If you guys want a stream about my time as an MP, we can do more story time, cop talks. Let me see what you guys are saying. My background is in Kevin. Yes, my background is in law enforcement. Military police, 6 years. 2 years was counter narcotics with a federal agency. That would be CID. 2 years approximately was military police investigations as an investigator. Both of them were technically as an investigator. And then the other 2 years was split between various military police stuff. So I worked the road. I did a bunch of security related stuff. I had a good time. We had a good time. I have a fairly unique career in military police. And I'm still in the Army as National Guard, but I'm no longer in like an active duty police capacity. So it's a whole thing. So what do I do now? It's a great question. Maybe you'll never know. Do I answer emails? I do answer emails. If I see them, they get a little swamped sometimes with other emails. But my email, I'm going to put that in the chat, and it'll probably show up in the chat before I actually say it. It's sergeantbluebacon@gmail.com. Boom, sergeantbluebacon@gmail.com is my email. I will try to respond. I can't promise that I'll see it because I get a lot of emails from a lot of different things. But it's a good time. It's a good time. So, as an MP in USA, is your territory larger? It's actually very interesting. Enforcing law in Germany, enforcing law in the United States. Within the United States, I'm incredibly limited in where I can enforce law. On the base, tons of authority. Tons of authority. Off base, very, very little. In fact, almost none. In Germany, we don't really have that limitation. So in America, we have the Posse Comitatus Act, which says soldiers cannot be used to enforce law on civilians outside of federal, jurisdictions like military installations, with very few exceptions. To do so is a felony, I believe, 3 years max in prison. So we're very, very careful about that. But in Germany, we don't have that limitation, and as long as the German police give us the okay, we can absolutely enforce the law, as long as there is a military nexus involved, meaning that if there's a soldier, they'll often just give it to us, because German police, the Polizei, don't want to deal with our mess. They don't want that paperwork, and I completely understand that. So if there's a soldier, they'll be like, hey, you guys want to take it? And like, cool, that's off the base. You okay with that? And they go, yeah, have at it. So in Germany, we're able to actually enforce law off base, but not on Germans. It's a fun time. It's really weird. It's a lot of fun, though. Candidate defense property excludes person. Do I think Jeremy will do significant time in prison? I think there's certainly a possibility of that. I think he'll be released for good behavior earlier than otherwise expected, unless he takes a plea deal, in which case he might not have that possibility because the sentencing might be a lot shorter. I'm excited to find out. I'm going to miss Metro State. I really am. We've had a good time talking about that. Can I do that in the UK? I don't know how it would work in the UK, honestly. MP, however, have gone to CID. CID, it does have a lot more authority than military police within the United States. So I got to work with them, which was a lot of fun. I got to do some pretty crazy things. I'll tell you guys about that in a stream sometime. Let me see. Never ever talk about OSI. OSI can go suck a lemon. I don't know much about OSI. I didn't interact with them much. They're very good, though, from what I hear. I am nobody. I'm afraid I won't be marrying a stranger over the internet, but I appreciate the offer. I should write a book one of these days. I don't know. I've been thinking about writing a book about counters to sovereign citizen claims. Actually, I have 2 books I want to write. One was a zombie apocalypse from the perspective of a soldier on a military base. So you hear a lot of, oh, the zombie apocalypse. Let's go to the military base to be safe. But what about the perspective from a soldier who has to defend the base from civilians and zombies? Like, no, you can't come on base. And they're like, no, that's on base. And you have to shoot civilians and how traumatic that would be. Meanwhile, zombies, oh, it'd be so much fun. What a great perspective that would be. Not much of a writer, though. I've been thinking about it. We'll see. But I really want to put together a book being like, oh, sovereign citizens are arguing this. Here's why they're wrong. And just go over everything. Maybe someday. Maybe. Did I ever coordinate with Air Force OSI? No, I did not. I'm sorry if I'm missing your comments, by the way. Texas Deputy, thank you. I appreciate that. Don't feel obligated to keep paying. If you see it, you don't like it, It was nice to have you. I'm not going to try to sucker you guys into anything you don't want to be a part of as far as the Patreon goes, but I really, really appreciate it. Spending any time downrange. I've never deployed. I tried to deploy in my first couple years. There was not a deploying unit out of Germany at the time that I could attach myself to. And then after 2 years, I was like, oh, I kind of enjoyed doing this investigative stuff. Went into military police investigations and stopped trying. I had a good time. Respect to the people who deployed. I have never deployed. Let me see. How long have I been on? I've been streaming for about an hour and a half, if that's the question. Let me see what else. If he accepts a plea deal, I would absolutely try to attend his sentencing. Absolutely. I think that would be... What a great ending, you know? Let me see. I always like arresting military and turning them over to the MPs. Yeah, we always loved getting them. Polizei was like, yeah, we only beat him a little bit. Now, Polizei are great police, sometimes. If you ever watch Muppets Most Wanted, and you want to know what the Polizei investigators, for example, the Creepo, which is like their drug investigators are like. If you ever watch Muppets Most Wanted, the French Interpol agent, oh my god, it's accurate. It is accurate to what it's like working with the German Creepo. At least the ones we had. Yeah, but I was like, we don't want your mess. Come get your soldier. He was drunk in public. You know, okay. And like the soldier who like has some bruises. Like, yeah, they beat me. Like, yeah, welcome to Germany. They can do that. Sorry, dude. Not that they like go out beating people, but if you don't obey the Polizei, like the Polizei, incredibly nice people. I've never met a Polizei officer that wasn't incredibly nice. But you better do what they say. They have these things called repeater batons. It's basically, you know, we have like asps and batons, police officers. Theirs are like rubber with a hard tip. And so when you hit someone with them, it bounces. And so you smack someone with that. Oh boy. It's effective. And they have the ability to use them, I guess. I've never seen them use them. But the rumor is, like, if they want a blood sample and you say no, they could literally pick up a piece of glass off the ground, cut you, and take that as a sample. Is that true? I don't know. Seems a little extreme, but that's the rumor. Yeah, Polizei are very laid back until they don't want to be. And they're feeling a little aggressive. And Polizei mess you up. And Germans, they know this. And I'm not saying that's how things should be, but that's how they are in Germany. So if you go vacation to Germany, don't mess with the Polizei. Very friendly people. Do not mess with them. Oh, high courts now have cameras? Amazing. Good. Let me see. Write a zombie movie where Jeremy shows up at a Walking Dead convention and thinks cosplayers himself. For real? Kuwait is like purgatory. Kuwait's not a combat deployment. Anyone who says otherwise is lying to you. That's not. Alright, Kuwait's a combat deployment. Well, Kuwait's a deployment. But compared to a lot of, like, Afghanistan, it's basically a vacation. That's what I hear anyway. I feel like we could petition successfully to get a camera in that courtroom. Now, I wouldn't just show up with a camera. I'd definitely write in a request as media. A World War Z movie wasn't great. The book is very good. I had the book around here somewhere. Is it up there? On my shelf? Somewhere. It's around here somewhere. Let me see. If I can't get a camera into the courthouse, I'm definitely standing outside the courthouse and interviewing people as they leave, and that would still be a lot of fun, I think. Let me see. It's amazing, though. That's very exciting news that cameras are now being allowed. For a long, long time, they were not allowed because they influenced. People will act differently in front of the camera than they will normally. So the reason that a lot of cameras weren't allowed in the higher courts was because, look, these are the cases that come here are a really big deal. And we don't want to cause someone to panic being in front of the camera and negatively affect their defense, which seems pretty reasonable. But now that cameras are becoming more commonplace, I would assume that the courts are like, all right, let's try it. And they've put together a lot of committees on this over the years to test this again and again to see, when they're ready to actually have cameras. And I guess now's the time. I haven't looked into that at all. I can't give you any information on it before what the chat is saying. That's pretty interesting. Take crayon and paper and draw like they do in federal court. That'd be good. How can you contact for a business proposition? That would be in my email. I'll put that email out again. Bacon at gmail.com. Hit me up with some emails. I can't promise I'll accept the proposition, but I'm definitely interested. Swear body camera. But see, that could be illegal. You gotta take into account the laws on recording private conversations, recording video in a non-public forum, that sort of thing. So, let me see. Texas deputy. Oh man, I'm excited. Once this Jeremy DeWitt stuff is over, I'm going to get back into videos on sovereign citizens and explaining a bunch of their stuff. I'm trying to find someone who I can interview. A sovereign citizen, Moorish American, someone. I have, for those of you who remember, my plumber is a sovereign citizen. Real nice guy. We have dinner occasionally. I don't know if he'd be willing to be interviewed live, in person. I would love to. We'll see. But he is always carrying a gun, so I don't want to make him too upset. But I'm trying to get someone to do like a telephone interview, that type of thing. Sovereign citizen, to discuss it with them live. Let me see. Man, you guys are going crazy today. We're popular today. I like that. Thanks for showing up, by the way. For those of you watching this after the fact, we're in 30, almost 37 minutes in, so I appreciate you sticking around. I know this isn't as fun when it's not live. When does he go to court? That's a good question. With this coronavirus, it's not for a couple months at least, I believe. Yeah, I don't want to get tased by P. Barnes. I don't want to get tased by anybody. Oh, good old P. Barnes. Little Rock Air Base. Ugh. Anyway, yeah, we'll keep an eye out. Let me know when that court case is coming up, because I might forget about it. September 14th. Oh, that's so far away. Oh man. Oh, German beer. Bruh. I love German beer. Have you guys ever had German beer? Oh, so good. I've been to Oktoberfest in Munich twice, which they were actually canceling this year, which is a shame, but understandable. It gets real packed. Like, so packed you can't move. You're just in the middle of a street. Just sardine in there. Oktoberfest is a lot of fun. I've never had beer at Oktoberfest, at the real Oktoberfest. Only champagne. It's actually hard to get into the beer tents to get the beer, but there's a champagne stand that's there, and I always get the champagne. It's kind of like heresy. Like, you went to Oktoberfest, the real Oktoberfest, and you didn't drink the beer? Like, no. It's hard to get to that beer, and I don't speak German very well. It's good stuff. Good. It's good stuff. Anyway, I got to get out of here. Wait, what was that? Yeah, I got to get out of here. I've been doing this for an hour and a half. This is supposed to be a short stream, guys. But so many of you showed up and were asking such great questions. I couldn't help myself. You know how I like to answer questions. This channel, the entire purpose of this channel is to help educate people and help people learn the things they want to learn about police. And I do want you to keep in mind while you're here that this channel, the directions this channel is based on what you guys are interested in. If you're interested in sovereign citizens, I'll keep doing sovereign citizens. If you want more stuff on auditors, I never meant to do so much about auditors, but people kept asking for more. And so I've kept putting it out there, and I'm actually a little bit behind in some of my auditor videos, I promise. I know Nasty Nathaniel, I promised you an audit on him. It's a very nice audit. It's very favorable towards him. I have the script. I haven't filmed it, unfortunately. Chicago stuff got dropped. Yeah, right. That's a shame. That would have been a fun case. Good for him, though. Good for him. Let me see. Yeah, Moorish Americans. Oh, you guys, I have my intro to Moorish Americans. It has a. Oof, it's gonna be a good one. There's some fascinating stuff about those guys. So, yes, Nasty Nathaniel has emailed me about discussing the fraud conviction for Jeremy DeWitt with his passport. That is something that has to happen. We're definitely going to be doing that in the future. But I'm trying to spend most of my weekend finishing the Jeremy DeWitt musical, with the exception of this stream. So I had something, at least something for you if I don't get that done. Let me see. You guys have been great. All right, I got to get out of here. You guys have been tons of fun. So, feel free to email me your questions. I'll give you my Discord, or contact me on Discord. I'll give you my Discord one more time. Let me hit the old invite people button, copy that link, and just skadoosh. There you go. All right. I'll see you guys later, and until the next time, be good and stay safe.